God's advice today. Have you ever felt that God is trying to speak to you, yet in the busyness of life, His signs go unnoticed? This message invites you to pause, reflect, and open your heart. Perhaps this is exactly what you needed to hear today. Watch until the end with openness, and if these words touch you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell to receive more messages like this. Don't forget to check the pinned comment for a 1-minute prayer and a recommended message to help strengthen your faith even more. God said, "My beloved son, pause for a moment and allow my voice to pass through every layer of your spirit, for today I am leading you into a deeper understanding of everything you have lived. I know that in many moments your soul felt surrounded by doubts, silent battles, and doors that seemed to remain closed, but I want you to listen carefully. None of it was in vain, because while you believed you were being left behind, I was strengthening your roots and preparing your structure to support the greatness of what is coming. Son, there is a light being born within you, a light that does not come from the world but from me, and it now begins to shine with renewed intensity, dissipating ancient shadows and awakening gifts that were asleep. Do not be frightened by the inner changes you have been noticing, for they are signs that my hand is shaping your story and aligning your steps with the eternal purpose I designed for you. Just as it is written, "But those who trust in the Lord shall renew their strength, they shall mount up with wings like eagles, they shall run and not be weary, they shall walk and not faint." Isaiah chapter 40 verse 31. Therefore receive this truth. Do you feel ready for a deep change in your life and in the lives of those you love? Sometimes all we need is a small step of faith to open the doors of abundance, peace, and blessings that God has already reserved for us. A simple 1-minute prayer can be the beginning of a spiritual journey that transforms the inside and reflects on the outside. If you want to attract more light, balance, and prosperity, spiritual and material, click on the first comment. There you will find a simple practice, lovingly guided, that can help you connect more deeply with the divine presence in your life. My spirit rests upon you now, surrounds you, restores you, and lifts you into a new stage, a phase where you will experience with depth what you once believed only by faith, because the time of your manifestation has come and nothing will stop what I myself started in you. Comment, I feel God renewing my strength today. I know exactly the weight you carried when you believed you were walking alone, when the days seemed too long and the waiting seemed endless, but while you cried, I gathered every tear. While you tried to understand, I aligned every detail. While you suffered, I molded your spirit to endure what you are now finally ready to live, because nothing you endured was loss, everything was preparation, training, and construction. Every silence that surrounded you strengthened your faith, every desert you crossed expanded your resilience, every delay that frustrated you was, in reality, aligning your heart with my voice and teaching you to discern my timing. Therefore, do not underestimate the strength that was born within you, for the pain transformed you, the path matured you, and the falls taught you to depend on me in a way you did not understand before. You are no longer the same man who once collapsed exhausted in my arms seeking only relief, because now you have become someone who learned to rest even without understanding, someone who discovered that faith is not the absence of struggle but complete trust, someone who, even wounded, chose to continue, and it is precisely for this reason that you are ready to live what I have prepared for you. Comment, today I recognize the value of my preparation. Remember that just as a seed must die to produce life, there were also things in you that needed to be removed, uprooted, and broken so that the new could finally flourish. Many looked at your winter, your silent pauses, and your days of apparent stagnation, and they hastily concluded that nothing else would come from you, judging your silence, your timing, your waiting, without realizing that while everyone saw only the surface, I saw the depth, because only I, contemplated the roots growing, the faith expanding, the resilience strengthening, and the hope taking shape inside you. Son, I saw what no one else saw. I witnessed your secret process, and I rejoice deeply with what is about to emerge, for the season that now begins over your life is not just a beautiful promise, it is a spiritual decree released over your story, a divine order that nothing can stop, just as it is written. Those who sow in tears shall reap with joy, Psalm 126 verse 5, and this truth is fulfilled in you, because children who cry in me never return empty-handed. Therefore, receive this announcement. Before you opens a time of harvest, a time when what seemed lost will become testimony, what seemed slow will become accelerated, and what seemed small will become abundant, because I myself have determined that the new begins now. Comment, I believe my harvest has arrived. Did you know that there is an effective method to attract greater financial prosperity? This technique can help transform your deep-seated beliefs and change the way you perceive reality. It had a profound impact on my life, and we would like to invite you to explore this special practice. When we trust that God wants to act in our lives, we gain the courage to ask Him directly. God desires to bless each of us in a unique and wonderful way. That's why it's important to seek His blessings with faith and confidence, believing that He has a special plan for you. If you would like to support our work and the team dedicated to bringing content that inspires and transforms, we invite you to check out our product. The link is available in the first comment, so you can discover how this technique can also help you on your journey. Your contribution helps us continue sharing messages that make a difference. We deeply appreciate your trust and support. My son, many tried to diminish you, saying that your dream was too big, too impossible, too distant, and they looked at your struggles as proof that you would not have the strength to continue. However, while men judged your appearance, I judged your structure. While they measured you by your falls, I shaped you for heights. While they compared you with others, I wrote a completely unique and unrepeatable chapter about your life. Because your purpose does not follow human patterns, it follows divine direction, and that is why I tell you, the expansion that arrives now is not only material, emotional, or circumstantial, it is spiritual, deep, silent, and undeniable, for I am expanding your sensitivity to discern what once confused you. I am expanding your vision to see beyond the immediate. I am expanding your courage to face doors that once intimidated you and to claim territories you once believed you did not deserve. You no longer walk in fear, you walk in conviction, because you learn to recognize my voice in the midst of the wind. You learn to perceive my presence even when nothing seemed to happen. You learn to trust even when the scenario screamed otherwise. And now, son, you no longer pray as someone who begs, but as someone who knows the Father, knows who He is, understands what He carries, and positions himself as heir to the promise. For what I have prepared for you does not depend on human approval, it depends only on your faith and my will, and both are aligned. Comment, I accept God's expansion over my life. My beloved child, there are doors you once tried to open with your own strength and could not because I denied you, but because I needed to protect you from what you were not yet prepared to carry. But now, the time shifts. What once felt heavy as stone will move with grace. People you never expected will become instruments in my hands. Situations that once appeared irreversible will be transformed with beauty and favor. For as my word declares, behold, I make all things new. Revelation chapter 21 verse 5. And I, the God who renews the impossible, am moving profoundly in your story. Nothing will hinder what has already been released over your destiny. What was delayed will accelerate. What was facciata will appear before your eyes. What was confusing will now become clear as daylight. I am the one who walks ahead of you, removing obstacles, softening hearts, realigning pathways, repositioning circumstances, and lifting you to places where you will shine without fear. Trust me, for this time is not a repetition of old seasons, it is a divine reset. What is unfolding now carries my signature, my timing, and my glory. Lift your spirit and declare, I receive the doors that God is already opening. My child, I perceive your heart, and I know that even though you walk with confidence, you still carry the scars of difficult seasons. Do not deny your pain, I saw every moment of it. Do not ignore your wounds, I have healed them in depths you cannot yet see. Every tear you shed became nourishment for the soil where my promises now begin to bloom. Time did not steal anything from you, it cultivated the ground for abundance. Today I speak over your life emotional healing, spiritual balance, and mental clarity. Your mind will rest. Your spirit will be steady. Your soul will find peace. The storm that once fractured you will now testify of your growth, your strength, and your resilience. You are not the same person who walked through those valleys, you have matured, expanded, and awakened. This is the hour where the wounds that once bled will now glow with purpose. Lift your voice with confidence and say, I accept the healing that God pours over me. My child, listen closely, I did not bring you this far to give you crumbs, I brought you to reveal abundance. What once felt distant will soon be tangible. What you thought was gone will be restored. What was denied will be returned multiplied. For I am the God who makes even the barren flourish. And just as the scripture declares, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a future and a hope. Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11. I have always thought great things about you, even when circumstances tried to shrink your vision. Now is the moment for you to think greater as well. Lift your expectations, remove limitations, and step into the vastness of the destiny I designed for you. The season of lack is ending, and the season of overflow is beginning. Declare it with faith, I believe in God's plans for my life. Now, my child, I ask you to release everything that weighs on you without purpose, everything that drains your strength, everything that holds you to cycles that no longer belong to you. Let go of what hurt you, what slowed you, what no longer matches the person you are becoming. Create space for the new cannot enter where the old still occupies every corner. I am removing excess, breaking chains, lifting burdens, and clearing the path before you. What comes now is expansion. What arrives is elevation. What awakens is transformation. You are not who you were, and the world will soon witness the difference. This is your moment of liberation, your embrace of the future, your step into alignment with purpose. Say with conviction, I release what holds me and receive the new of God. My child, remember that I am the God who sustains you when your steps tremble, the God who carries you when your strength fades, the God who speaks to your spirit when the world tries to silence you. I tell you today, do not fear the new, for I am already in it. Do not fear change, for I am the one who initiated it. Do not fear the unknown, for I am your unfailing guide. As my word declares, Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Psalm 23 verse 4. What is coming is not confusion, it is direction. It is not loss, it is alignment. It is not risk, it is purpose unfolding. Trust the path I am shaping beneath your feet. Trust the peace I am placing inside you. Trust the future I have crafted for you. Speak boldly, I trust in the direction God gives me. My beloved child, take a deep breath now, because I want you to understand something sacred. This is the most important moment of your journey so far. Everything you endured, everything you survived, everything you cried, everything you kept believing even when no one understood, all of it brought you exactly to the place I always dreamed of placing you. I am with you. My hands sustain you. My eyes protect you. My spirit guides you. You have never walked alone, and you never will. Prepare yourself, miracles will arrive from unexpected directions, answers you gave up waiting for will knock on your door, and what you once called impossible will become natural in my presence. You are not at the end, you are at the beginning of the best season of your life. Stand firm and declare, I am ready to live the new time of God. My child, I arrive neither early nor late, but at the exact moment in which transformation becomes possible. Believe what I am telling you now, even if your natural eyes still struggle to perceive it. Your spirit has already sensed what is moving. Something within you is shifting, aligning, awakening. There is a motion occurring beneath the surface, a divine current rearranging what once felt stagnant. Do not resist it out of fear, for fear distorts what I am revealing with clarity. Embrace this movement with faith, because the unknown is never a threat to those who walk with my hand upon their life. Just as sunlight breaks through heavy clouds after the fiercest storms, my light now pierces the last remaining shadows within you. You no longer need to carry weights that were never yours to bear. Release the burdens that cling to old seasons. Let go of the guilt I have already cleansed from you. The past cannot hold you when grace calls you forward with authority. Every step you took, steady or trembling, has been counted. Nothing in your journey has been wasted. Even the moments you considered insignificant have been woven into a greater design that you are only beginning to understand. The footprints you leave behind are not remnants of a life fading into memory. They are markers of a path that becomes more illuminated as you advance. What has carried you until now is not accidental, it is purpose unfolding with intention. The determination that sustained you in the nights of doubt, exhaustion, and loneliness is the same foundation upon which new days will be built. You do not walk into a future detached from your past, you walk strengthened by it. Every fragment of your story, from joy to sorrow, from breakthrough to silence, has forged a deeper resilience within you. That resilience is not merely survival, it is transformation. What you feel as a rebirth is not a coincidence. It is the harvest of a long season of inner sowing. Seeds planted in tears, silence, surrender, and perseverance are now breaking through the soil. Let this certainty take root in the deepest layers of your being. You are being guided step by step, sustained breath by breath, transformed moment by moment. Allow this message to reach your spirit as living water. Let each word soften the hardened places, revive what seemed dormant, and expand what has been restricted by fear or doubt. You are being restored, rebuilt, and reanimated, not by human force, but by divine power. The one who watches over you never sleeps, never overlooks, never forgets. Every act of courage, every prayer whispered in vulnerability, every moment you chose to rise when everything pushed you down, I have seen them, I have honored them, and I have responded to them. There are chambers within your soul that have long remained untouched, closed like windows sealed by the passing of years. Now those chambers are opening. Light enters spaces within you that had adapted to shadows. Fresh air circulates where heaviness once settled. And as your soul begins to breathe authentically again, everything changes. Vision sharpens. The heart awakens. The spirit becomes attentive to the subtleties of my voice. Many have tried to interpret your journey, but no one has truly understood the depth of what I have been shaping within you. Only I have seen every layer, every wound, every silent battle, every triumph hidden from the eyes of others. Only I stood beside you in the weight of silence, when your questions found no immediate answers and your nights stretched long with uncertainty. But now the silence becomes a voice, and the darkness becomes direction. You are entering a season where my presence will feel like a gentle wind moving through your chest, bringing new breath, new joy, new courage. This is not a temporary spark or an emotional moment. It is a structural transformation taking place within your soul. Like an ancient house being restored piece by piece, brick by brick, not rushed, but perfected, you are being strengthened from the inside out. What was worn is receiving new strength. What was fragile is rising with new solidity. Nothing is wasted when I rebuild. Every piece becomes part of something stronger. Within the unseen corridors of your spirit, new doors are forming. Pathways you never imagined yourself walking are being revealed like lights that flicker to life one by one in a silent sanctuary. Each decision will carry illumination. Each step will be guided. Every movement will align with a greater purpose. You will not walk in darkness, because my light not only reveals the path, it transforms the one who walks upon it. For years you carried layers of silent expectations, pressures you could not explain, inner demands that exhausted your strength. Now those layers are falling away like garments too heavy for the season you are entering. I lift you so that you may live in the freedom of purpose, not in the prison of comparison. The one who walks with me does not exist to prove anything to anyone, they exist to fulfill destiny. Think of the mountains, ancient, silent, firm. They do not bend to the wind. They do not lose themselves in storm or season. They stand because their foundation runs deep. So it is with your spirit, not hardened but unshakable. The firmness I build within you does not arise from pride, but from clarity, clarity of who you are, who you belong to, and who walks beside you. Those who are strengthened by me do not fear the shifting tides of the world, because they carry a peace that is not threatened by circumstance. Look at the sky on a quiet night. Even when clouds cover the stars continue to shine unchanged. There have been moments when you felt exactly like this, hidden, dimmed, overshadowed. But your value never disappeared. Your essence never dimmed. Your purpose was never cancelled. Now I remove the clouds, not to create light, but to reveal the light that has always been there. You are not being reinvented, you are being revealed. Sounds that once felt dissonant within you now begin to align like a melody finding its perfect harmony. My voice does not arrive as pressure but as music, gentle, steady, awakening understanding and deep rest. You are stepping into a clarity that does not demand effort but arises naturally from communion with me. And as this clarity unfolds, you will begin to recognize that everything you thought was breaking you was actually positioning you. Everything that seemed like loss was preparing room for gain. Everything that felt delayed was training your spirit to move with precision. You are moving into a season where you will no longer question whether you are walking in the right direction. you will know. Not because circumstances make it easy, but because my peace will confirm each step. The internal battles that once consumed you will lose their power, not by force, but by the quiet authority of revelation. The weight of old identities, old disappointments, old fears will fall away because they cannot coexist with the new structure forming within you. I am not merely changing your life, I am changing your spiritual architecture. You are rising not as who you were, but as who you were always meant to be. The road ahead will not demand the strength you once needed to survive, it will require the openness to receive. For I am not calling you to strive, I am calling you to align. Everything that unfolds from this moment forward will flow from the identity I have restored in you, beloved, chosen, strengthened, enlightened, renewed. Let this truth settle into every corner of your being. You are not walking toward restoration, you are walking from restoration. What I have begun within you no force can hinder. What I have awakened no darkness can silence. What I have rebuilt no opposition can shake. You are stepping into a life anchored not in fear, but in revelation, not in uncertainty, but in purpose, not in exhaustion, but in divine breath. And as you continue forward, my presence will remain your constant rhythm, your quiet anchor, your steady flame. Nothing before you is aimless. Nothing within you is accidental. You are moving according to a divine orchestration that has been unfolding long before you were aware of it. Trust it. Walk in it. Breathe in it. You are becoming who you were created to be, and this transformation is only the beginning. The restlessness that once echoed loudly inside you begins to dissolve, not because life suddenly became quiet, but because a deeper peace has risen within you, a peace that speaks with authority, a peace that silences every mental storm, a peace born from the touch of the divine upon your inner world. Thoughts that once scattered like frightened birds now move with harmony, as though guided by an unseen hand. You begin to notice that healing does not always begin on the outside, it begins where no one can see. The storms within you, the ones you tried to ignore, the ones you pretended not to feel, the ones that kept you awake at night, those storms are the first to bow. Memories that once held you captive begin to lose their chains. Not because they vanished or were erased, but because their power ended. The weight they held over you breaks, and you finally understand that healing is not a fragile process but a profound transformation. Nothing about what is unfolding in your life is small, symbolic, or superficial. It is real. It is deep. It is total. The restoration at work in you is not a gentle suggestion, it is a complete remaking. And as your inner world heals, your vision expands. What once felt impossible now feels natural. What once felt too big now feels aligned. You are not becoming arrogant, you are awakening, stepping into the spiritual capacity that was always in you but dormant. When the divine touches someone, limitation falls away, not because we seek earthly greatness, but because we finally understand that spiritual children are never meant to think in smallness. Greatness, the true kind, never comes from ego, it is born from humility and clarity. And those two gifts are being poured into you now. Many times throughout your life, people misunderstood you. They confused your sensitivity with fragility, your depth with insecurity, your intuition with weakness. But none of that reflected who you truly were. Sensitivity was never your flaw, it was your antenna, your spiritual compass, your open channel to divine perception. You feel deeply because you were designed to perceive what others overlook. What once hurt you, what once cut too deeply, what once made you feel out of place, those very traits are transforming into wisdom, discernment, and strength. Your heart was never defective, it was under construction. It was preparing for a mission that required depth and clarity. There were seasons in your life where long corridors of waiting stretched endlessly before you, and you wondered why so many doors stayed closed, even when you were willing, ready, and pleading for them to open. But now you understand, those closed doors were not punishment. They were protection. They were direction. The wrong door can delay a destiny, the right door can transform one. Every door kept shut was safeguarding you from what your spirit was not yet ready to hold. Now you see how nothing was denied to harm you, but to preserve you. The destiny prepared for you required strength, maturity, endurance, and spiritual precision. And now that time has come. What once felt confusing now makes sense. What once felt late now feels perfectly timed. You have not arrived behind schedule, you have reached the moment when everything is finally ripe. Your inner journey resembles the slow chiseling of a masterpiece. And masterpieces are never rushed. The sculptor's hand strikes, shapes, and refines, each movement intentional, each blow purposeful. Though the process felt harsh at times, though it seemed like too much pressure, too many losses, too many lessons, every one of them carved out parts of you that were necessary. The dust is settling, the shape is emerging, and you are beginning to recognize the person you have become, not the version you feared, not the version others expected, but the version heaven always knew you could be. Fear begins to lose its grip when truth takes root. Anxiety fades when peace secures its place. Guilt loses its weight when grace becomes your shelter. Insecurity quiets when identity anchors itself in something unshakable. What used to be an exhausting battle is becoming a journey of trust. You are not expected to understand every step of this process. Understanding unfolds with the journey, not before it. You are being called not to control, but to trust. When trust becomes your posture, the path lights up before you, burdens loosen, and your steps grow firm. Your story will never be marked by lonely effort but by divine guidance. New people are approaching your path, not through coincidence but through orchestration. Voices carrying wisdom will appear, not to dominate your choices but to strengthen your spirit. Connections will form effortlessly, like puzzle pieces once scattered now falling into place. Every encounter will hold meaning. Nothing will be accidental. The radiance growing inside you will draw attention. Some will admire it. Some will be surprised by it. Some will resist it. Light always confronts the comfort of shadows, but light never retreats. Do not fear opinions, looks, judgments, or whispers. The mark upon your life is unmistakable. Those who are not meant to understand it cannot halt it. Those who resist it cannot erase it. If your past tried to convince you that your best days were behind you, today you discover that they are unfolding before you. There are horizons you have not yet seen, possibilities you never allowed yourself to consider, and destinations you never believed you were worthy of dreaming. And now they rise before you. As you walk in this new light, remember this truth: every breath gives you another chance to align with the eternal rhythm placed within your spirit. Walking alongside what is sacred means embracing renewal again and again. There is no age for rebirth, no limit for growth, no expiration on brilliance. As long as the heart carries faith, mountains shift, paths open, and destinies awaken. You are not simply being freed from pain, you are being elevated into a higher level of existence. Faith will no longer be something you hold, it will be the atmosphere you breathe. Peace will no longer be a temporary comfort, it will become your natural state. Hope will no longer be a waiting room, it will become your identity. Your story refuses to bow to your past. It rises toward your future. The one who writes your story writes with precision, prepares with love, and moves with divine purpose. Nothing in your life is out of order. Nothing is accidental. Nothing is wasted. You stand at the threshold of experiences you once only imagined, spiritual realities you once only glimpsed, and blessings you once believed were reserved for others. What is supernatural is no longer distant, it is drawing near with intentional steps. The world may witness your transformation from the outside, but you will feel the rebirth from within. What was once your struggle will become your testimony, your proof of resilience, your reminder of divine intervention, your evidence of growth. Every tear you shed, every moment you persevered, every night you endured will speak of victory. The shadows you once walked through will no longer represent fear, they will represent how far you have traveled. The wounds that once weakened you now glow with the light of healing. The doubts that once clouded your mind dissolve before the clarity rising in you. What once hurt you now teaches you. What once hindered you now refines you. What once defined you now becomes only a chapter, not the story. Your spirit is awakening into a new current of life, one woven with purpose and expansion. You have been prepared for this, through every storm, every silence, every disappointment, every prayer whispered in exhaustion. You are stepping into a phase where your inner strength becomes visible, where your resilience becomes evident, where your purpose becomes undeniable. And as you rise, you will notice something profound. The world around you responds to your transformation. Circumstances shift. Opportunities appear. Perspectives open. The atmosphere recognizes the change in your spirit. You are no longer walking as the wounded version of yourself. You are walking as the healed, expanded, awakened version. And the universe responds to that alignment. This is not the end of your battle, it is the beginning of your revelation. Not the end of your story, but the beginning of your unfolding. Not the completion of your healing, but the flourishing that comes after it. You will see yourself differently. You will think differently. You will feel differently. You will live differently. And while the world may marvel at the change, you will know it was the result of quiet nights, silent battles, whispered prayers, and divine hands shaping you from the inside out. Everything that once felt like breaking has proven to be your making. Everything that once felt like loss has become preparation. Everything that once felt like emptiness has become space for new life. Nothing in your journey has been wasted. Nothing has been meaningless. Not one moment has been overlooked. You are stepping into a season where the pieces of your life stop feeling disconnected and begin to form a picture. You are becoming the person you were always meant to be, clear-hearted, steady-souled, guided, awakened, and free. And as you walk forward, you carry not just healing but purpose, not just peace but clarity, not just restoration but expansion. The world will see transformation. But you will experience rebirth. What once overwhelmed and intimidated you now becomes the very evidence of your resilience. The battles that once defined you now become chapters of testimony, moments that demonstrate the depth of your endurance and the expansiveness of divine care. Pain is no longer a prison but a teacher. Disappointment is no longer a loss but a preparation. Uncertainty is no longer a threat but a space where insight can emerge. The Spirit does not merely remove what is difficult, it transforms it into a pathway of growth and understanding. As your inner life aligns with this sacred guidance, you perceive a reality that was previously hidden. What once seemed random or burdensome now reveals a pattern, a design, and a purpose. You begin to see how the trials of your past were never wasted, and how each step, each moment of faith, each quiet prayer contributed to a larger unfolding plan. The Spirit's work is comprehensive, touching your mind, emotions, and spirit simultaneously, creating a coherence that redefines how you live, think, and feel. You are awakening to a deeper level of life, one that integrates peace, wisdom, strength, and clarity into every aspect of your existence. The Spirit is organizing your priorities, clearing emotional clutter, bringing clarity to confusion, and illuminating areas once clouded by doubt. This is a quiet but profound miracle, one that the eyes may not yet see but the soul cannot ignore. Gifts long dormant, discernment, insight, the ability to respond with wisdom, the courage to act in alignment with truth, are awakening. And with them comes a new understanding. Life is no longer a series of trials to endure but a sacred journey to navigate with confidence, clarity, and spiritual alignment. You are stepping into a reality where the invisible becomes tangible, where the unseen orchestrates the scene, and where your spirit moves with a certainty born of divine intimacy. The Spirit has come not just to answer, not just to comfort, but to transform, renewing you in every dimension so that what once seemed impossible now feels natural, and what once seemed fragile now feels eternal. With love, God. I hope this message has been an inspiration to you. If it touched your heart, write Amen in the comments and share it with someone who also needs to hear this word. I invite you to click on the first comment, where you will find a special prayer and a suggestion to strengthen your spiritual journey. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to receive more inspiring content like this. See you tomorrow.